Just turned to Steve, who's my other executive producer, and said, just give me Antonio and we'll go make a show.
You know, Alan is a force of nature. He is relentless, both as a filmmaker and as a person. And it's one of his best qualities. It's one of the things I appreciate the most as his partner. So this one really paid off. You know, he would not stop talking about Antonio.
I called Antonio that night, offered him the part.
And I was like, awesome, when do you need me there? He's like, well, if it was my way, I'd have you here tomorrow. I was like, oh, great. I can just pack up my life and head over to Nashville for about 12 weeks and take on this new adventure. It was the best decision I could have made.
C in your middle finger and D in the thumb in the right hand?
Creative genius. I think just brilliance. I don't know. I don't even know how to sum up her talent, because it's like, it is creative genius. You know, she's a brilliant actor, brilliant songwriter, brilliant writer. Just like out of nowhere, she'll be like, oh, we need this moment here. And then ends up writing this whole monologue for the end of the show that like sums up the whole thing in like 15 minutes. We had about 2 weeks of pre-production where I was in the studio recording, dancing, singing, acting, going through rehearsals and table reads and all that.
You know, table reads are always fun. They're fun because it's the first time the cast has really been in the same room together. And they're reading the words off the page that we've been reading without people for so long. So it brings everything to life in a way, but not all the way. Obviously, you're just sitting at a table. But in this case, we knew pretty quickly that this group was going to be special just based on sitting at a table, looking at each other and reading those lines.
I was on the phone with Luke, telling him about this part. He was like, yeah, whatever you need. He'd never auditioned for anything before. He's a theater kid, still is a theater kid. And I sent him the sides, and he sent me his audition. And I was here in this room with Adam at that desk.
We were there at Alan's space, and we were working on figuring out how to take the hell of it and it as well and put them together. So we were sitting there with guitars and going crazy and trying to figure out how to mesh those two things together. And then he's like, an audition tape just came in. And I'm like, from who?
Hi, I'm Nicholas Zipshon. I am 18 years old, and I will be reading for the part of Charlie.
I want to say how grateful I am to be here in this capacity. It's been my dream, like, since I was a kid, and directing American Girl doll movies with my friends, like every birthday, writing scripts and handing them out, like to be a part of it in this capacity. And literally sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I just go to bed imagining the first table read of something I've written.
If you guys don't know Antonio before, the guy that's sitting here, you've been missing out, because I've been watching Antonio Cipriano YouTube videos for years. Yes, I knew you were talented, of course, but when I heard what you did on Amazing Grace, I knew we were going to be okay. And then the Kim read was, nuts. So I'm so grateful, man, that you're here to come and bring what you bring to this. If you really think about it, like, to not know that the show exists, and then, I don't know, a week later to be the lead of the show, and then 2.5 weeks after that to be rolling cameras and then recording 16 songs and 12 dances. It was insane, but he was down, he jumped in, and he did a great job.
But I guess you didn't hear the eyeless believed. Amazing grace, how silent the sound.
The theme of A Week Away, from top to bottom, has always been a song that we put in the first movie called Good Enough, which is that you are good enough, and that you are valuable, and that you deserve to be loved, and that you don't have to work or do anything to have a place. That part is inherent and is there. I think my whole life is going to be about communicating that message. That's the thing that keeps me coming back to this story and this camp and these kids, is the opportunity to wrestle with that message through the lens of going through things, because we've all been through things.
One of them you will see. You will see. If you open up, I know you will see. I've been there, done that, you will see. You will see. It'll be the
gonna suck.
Because now that we had lost our Max, we really didn't have a leader of the cast. And now it's really hard to imagine this whole journey without Antonio.
I wish I could sing those words honestly. To me, everybody on the team, Alan took me on a golf cart, just like showed me around the entire camp.
Because, you know, he showed up and I handed him 7 episodes of the show, 90% of which he was talking for. Maybe that afternoon we got him behind the mic for the first time.
No, I can't hear a thing. You must be lost.
Thank you. This is a special story. This is in my bones. So
Yeah.
let's do it well. Let's tell it right. Each and every one of you are shades of me.
Alan mentioned to me many times that he if there was any character that he related to the most, it was Max. So it was always kind of like, we want to tell this story in the most authentic way possible. How are we going to make that happen? Specifically for Max, he was really focused on making it as authentic as possible because it's a lived experience that he's been through.
The day before, I told our leaders, like our camp leaders in the show, all right, I want you guys to create your chants with your team. And they're like,
Me? What? We already finished the whole soundtrack. What are we... Chance? What even is this?
it's like, no, the ones we're doing on the show tomorrow, you have to write it and choreograph it and perform it.
The chants really stressed me out. They really stressed me out. I wrote the Azure Apostles chant. Ava Jean wrote the Crimson Angels chant. And then Alan,
I wrote Verdes because I had to. I had to, meaning like I just personally had to.
because his team growing up was Verde Maximus, so he feels too connected to not write that. And then they had all the dancers from each team come up with original choreo and try to beat each other at the game.
Sasha, man, you know, Sasha. We have a lot of mutual friends. I don't even know where I met you or saw you the first time, so either way, it all kind of like melds together in this I love Sasha and you want to be in the room with Sasha all the time. Same sort of thing, dude. You showed up, you did this torch, and like you just were Jake and are Jake, and we started writing Jake, and there was nobody we ever saw besides Jake, so we're so excited that you're here. We're grateful that you're here.
That's what I'm here for. Gonna have some fun. Come on, count it.
I had seen Sasha, I first met Sasha and Ava, for that matter, at a theater camp that my kid goes to, and we made a docuseries about. They just have a light, you know, they have an energy that comes off of them as creatives, and I never forgot that. So when we were writing and the Jake character popped up, I think I always just saw Sasha.
Today's team chants, and we were just sent the chants, I'm not even kidding, 20 minutes ago.
Alan texted us at 2:30 in the morning.
So-
And to put it into perspective, usually with a musical number or a dance number, we take weeks to create or perfect and rehearse and whatever. We got 1 hour?
If that.
That's why we get a little stressed out about situations like this.
3, 2, 1, team move!
Be groove it! Hey!
This team's pretty good. Alright, so you guys have 8 people on your team.
Okay.
You have Max, Savannah, and Charlie. They're cooking. I think they might get a Michelin star for how good they're cooking out here. Did you get my joke?
When Ava sent me the chant that she wrote for Crimson Angels, and it was so Savannah. This is deeper into production, so she'd been playing this character for a few weeks, and she didn't just write something that was cool that Ava liked. Like, she wrote what Savannah would write as a chant. And, you know, Cozi did the same for the Azure Apostles playing Lenny.
Cause we're better and you know that's true. Love God, us too. Just wait till the apostles come through.
So I had a deeper understanding of just how invested they were in these characters and in this project and wherever we needed to go and whatever was best and most interesting and fun. And
They knew each other so well, and Alan was in the middle of all that, so he knew them all very well, and he trusted their instincts, and I trust Alan's instincts, so somehow it worked out.
That kind of sounded bad.
Ava Jean playing Savannah was a little bit more. Yes, I had seen her at the theater camp, and so I was excited to see her audition.
Hey, my name is Ava Jean. I'm located in Los Angeles.
I met Ava Jean when we did 1,300 Miles of Broadway, the documentary. 2 years, whatever it was, a couple of summers ago. But she had done so much growing in the subsequent 2 years after I'd seen her as an actor, and it kind of blew me away. And there's, one scene, you typically do, 2 or 3 scenes for main cast, and they have specific purposes, and one specific purpose for one of Savannah's scenes was to show us the mean girl side of that character. And can you be funny and yet somehow likable when you're saying these ridiculous things.
I'm looking for who's got the best origin story. The more unhinged, the better. You got trauma? Dump it. Go.
There were sides of her that, like, I was like, oh my gosh, especially with just a look.
This is Luke, everyone. Luke's, dude, listen, it's so funny. Luke, it's a bit of a whirlwind.
The audition process, I think, really came down to the wire. So Charlie, in the beginning, when we have Matt as Max, and Matt's kind of this more broody guy, Charlie was supposed to be this like charming ladies' man, you know, going after Ro, and he's supposed to be this kind of funny, over-the-top swagger type character. When Matt was no longer part of the process and Antonio came in, we were like, okay, now Charlie has to change.
I watched it, and it's, you know, 2 or 3 scenes. We didn't say anything.
Yeah, he's kind of like the main guy. I'm Charlie, his role model.
Within 2 seconds, I started just cracking up.
But it was so just different. And I'd seen a number of Charlies and wasn't what I had seen before. And I remember I said some version of like, I feel like, was that great? Like I think that was great, wasn't it? But the reason I wasn't sure, for lack of a better term, is only because it wasn't like polished.
Oh yeah, I forgive you. You know, Grace and all that.
Like he'd never auditioned for anything before. He's a theater kid. And I already knew that I loved him because I'd seen him in a few shows. But when I looked over and I was like, that was great, right? And he was like,
it's maybe better. Like he's Charlie. I'm like, don't even, yeah.
When we were looking for this role, I'll be honest with you, I was like, but she's so nice. But your tape wasn't.
She has moments, like where there's 0 dialogue, where she has to do a lot with her eyes and a look, and they really relied on that, and she delivered in ways that were just like stunning to me.
And it would be weird because, you know, we'd be shooting and she would be manipulative and mean. And then, you know, we'd cut and she'd come over and sit behind the monitors, and she's literally the nicest person ever. Just ever. It's so impressive.
It stops both of us in our tracks because we were in stitches in the first scene.
That was off the top of his head. Top of his head.
Like I was laughing so hard. But then in that next scene, man, when you were having a heart-to-heart.
You said some super messed up stuff, and I think she believes it.
I just kind of knew in that moment that this was probably the way that we were going to go.
And Alan's like, I'm calling him.
She made some choices in that audition that nobody else was bold enough to make. And I, you know, had seen who knows how many tapes at that point and watched her tape, and she made me laugh out loud even after I'd heard these lines, you know, dozens of times.
Is there a custody battle?
No.
Nice try.
You. When I forgot to clean my room, my dad used to, he used to
hit you?
So there's a moment in her initial audition, and Ava just made this choice. She's got a clipboard, which was already an interesting choice. And I remember she hit herself in the head.
You guys are kidding me with this.
With this clipboard. I'll never forget, I was watching it with my, with Presley, my second, and we're watching some of these tapes, and then we get to Ava's and she's doing this thing, and both Presley and I just laughed out loud. Even though we had seen, you know, 5 or 10 auditions in a row, she really made us kind of sit up and laugh and see the lines in a new way. Haven, I don't know why, the first time that we were typing this show and we wrote this role, I just typed Haven. I don't even know. Like, obviously I knew of you, I've known your mom really well, and so I've been tangentially connected and been following you for a long time, but there was something about this character, even before we named her Ro, that just was always you. And so then you showed up in The Torch and were amazing.
I can't be without my phone. I'm trying to build something here.
And Ro is just she's so warm and so funny. Just like her ability to be both likable and sarcastic and just that whole thing, irreverent, all of that. And she has a lot of moments too where it's like we rely on her to just kind of go and have that not be campy and weird, but like we believe that she's that.
We have a great cast.
Leigh-Allyn Baker, I've known him like so many people for a long, long time, and some of the work, you know, playing the mom and Good Luck Charlie, and we've had mutual friends for a while. Once the Carla character became what she is, I was always writing with Leigh-Allyn Baker in mind, and she was kind enough to come and lend her amazing talents to the role. So we passed that part, and I was like, hey, can you come to because we were already in pre-production, can you come to the camp tomorrow and read with Antonio?
He came in and did a chemistry read with Antonio.
But we're gonna have a blast. It's gonna suck. Oh, totally. You said some
super messed up stuff, and I think she believes it.
I wasn't trying to hurt her, okay?
And just their dynamic as brothers was just very natural and easy.
2 days ago, he didn't know what this thing was, and then 2 days later, he's at a camp reading. He did know who Antonio was, reading with this guy who he'd seen on Broadway and seen a bunch of videos with, but was great and was willing to jump in and brought so much heart to the character and to the show for that matter. A lot of people around this table who have done this a lot, we're all here for you, but you're here because you deserve it. We read a lot. We looked at a lot of people. So I just want you to know that, dude, in shocking fashion for everyone, here you are. We're here for you. We want you to go in and do what you do and nothing else. So I'm glad that you're here. Ladies.
And was talking to Alan. I said, you have to check out this actress named Cozi Zulsdorf.
She has not shut up about Cozi Zulsdorf for like 6 or 7 years now. And then what happened was we were shooting The Torch, and at some point I was like, man, we really need this like sort of thing where, Lenny would say this sort of thing, what do you think? And then about 5 minutes later, because this is what she does, she sends me this note with this monologue that she'd written, and I said, well, just say that, don't change anything about it.
The mirror thing was cute. You not into it?
What if I let it be real? What if I?
And I don't know why necessarily, but the initial previs of the bridge for Camp Crush just didn't excite me. I don't know. It was one of those, like, I was trying to kind of think on behalf of the audience, and there was like a mirror thing, if memory serves, but it made me go, as opposed to, I don't think that I want to do a dream sequence where we put them in the same frame. I'll tell you why, because I want to save it. There's a couple things that come to mind. You could do the mirror thing, which could work, or they could kind of like, if this is their bum, they could kind of like be turned and having a moment to themselves that they're just kind of like realizing, like, oh, this could be cool, and we're just on each of them kind of individually.
Camp Crush came out of a session that started with extremely low vibes. We had just lost our Max. We had no idea who our new Max would be. And we all just looked at each other and kind of got into that slap happy hour where you're like, well, we either could have laughed or cried, and so we just laughed. That is the song with the most alt lyrics. As a songwriter, the easiest thing to write is the silly lyric that rhymes exactly with the lyric you really should use. I mean, we have inside jokes to this day from just that one song, and I know we've got a lot of footage of us laughing so hard we can't even breathe while we're writing that song. If I'm a minivan, then he's a Cadillac. Oh, Lenny, you're cool. Yeah, but not like that.
I mean, okay. Hang on. If you just fast forward the song and nothing changed in the story or for the characters, then just don't sing the song. Well, from a story perspective, our main character started the place. You're like, there's no way that this person is into me.
What are you looking at me like that for? You were flirting with her. I know not of what you speak.
Boys, am I right?
1,000%.
Okay, y'all are crazy. Stop it.
And by the end of it, they're open to the idea of it. They're excited by the ideas.
What if I let it be real?
David, we had in the film. Steve, my partner Steve, is good friends with Dave, so that's the only reason we were able to get him in the movie. I mean, who doesn't know? Dave Koechner's, Champ Kind and Anchorman and Todd Packer in The Office, and the list goes on and on. So his willingness to bring that level of professionalism and comedy and heart, for that matter, to the film really elevated that movie, in my opinion, and we're so grateful that he was willing to come back and play the same character for us in the show. Carlos Penavega now is a friend of mine, but I knew through we had a mutual friend, and he's in Big Time Rush, and I've been a fan of his as an artist for a long time, and knowing that he resonated with the faith aspect of this and is a man of faith himself and a great human and a great husband and a great father and a good artist. When we created the character of Jeremy in The Torch, it was originally played by Lecrae, and Lecrae was great in the Torch for us, but because of just schedule and he's putting out a record and stuff, he wasn't able to come back and do the show.
Finding a villain is always really, really difficult. This one was even more challenging because she had to have shades. She couldn't just be all bad. She had to be vulnerable. She had to be likable at times, but also manipulative and a little catty at times too. So it was a big role.
I don't think that Savannah is an easy thing. The Regina George thing, whatever. Yeah, you can do that, and we will do that, but we have to have a person living underneath. And and that's a difficult thing that I'm really excited to see you do.
As somebody who's done this for a while, to see a young actress be able to pull off what she pulled off, I could not be more impressed with who she is and what she's doing.
And then he had this really cool sound bed for what the verse would be.
Like 1,000 degrees, I mean the tension, it was crazy, it was keep it PG. Now we're ready for the wedding, lady, listen to me. Yeah, it's a match made in heaven.
Anytime something comes on, it just makes me start doing this. I'm like, all right, well, that's the thing. Jason Marsden, man, I mean, who's not a fan of Jason Marsden? Boy Meets World, I grew up on. Step by Step, I grew up on, and most notably, in my personal opinion, and importantly, you know, to be the voice of Max in a Goofy movie, which I just think is one of the best animated musicals ever. He's here in Nashville, he's local, and I've met him a couple of times. We've been in a couple of acting classes together, and I mean, on the first time we created character, it wasn't named Bog, and Kronk. It was named Kronk, because it's what I do. To keep it like exactly what I want it to be in my mind and write for it, I keep it with the person and or character that is influencing it. And Kronk was the side character in Emperor's New Groove, and I just wanted a Kronk, so we called him Kronk forever. And then obviously we can't call him Kronk, so we had to change the name.
It's just the team aspect of everything. Like when you're working on music and I'm engineering, producing, and I really like to mesh those things. I like to record while we're writing.
I could see like it's a match made in, like almost somebody being serious. It's a match made in heaven, Roy. Thank you, G.O.D.
Okay.
As soon as a song is starting to take shape, I'm pressing record and building the things that are going to be the thing.
It's a camp crush. Now we're ready for the wedding, lady, listen to me. It's a match made in heaven, thank you, G.O.D.
Guys, come on. No shot.
Just give in to the feeling. It's a camp crush.
What she sent us was so good, and Alan called me and was like, hey, I think Cozi should be a writer on the show. How do you feel about that? And I was like, bring her in.
It was just, I will never forget that phone call. It meant so much to me. And particularly at the time in my life, I recently opened up about something I'm very private about, which is my struggle with endometriosis over the course of my life.
It was hard to see Cozi go through her health issues, mostly because I just care about her as a human, obviously, and you don't want anybody who you love and care about to be dealing with those with anything that's difficult. Sure, you're a great dancer. And we're gonna use it and we're gonna highlight it. I've been following Haven's dance career for a while, unbelievably talented dancer, and you know, I knew her, but just following her story creatively and watching her do her thing, for some reason when I created that character and typed the character the first time, I just saw Haven and typed Haven and then changed the name of the character to be one of my kids' names. But you deserve to be here as an actor and as a singer and as somebody who is embodying a role that I named after one of my kids, you know, and I'm so grateful that you're bringing what you bring to it. So good luck keeping up with her during the musical numbers, guys, but she's going to bring something really special. We're glad that you're here. Thank you.
I've had 2 major surgeries for it, one in 2020 and one in 2024. I was staying at my parents' house during recovery and moving around with a walker, hobbling around the house, pulling together a makeshift studio at my parents' house and writing to distract from the literal pain I was in. And so getting that call came right at the axis of starting to feel better and seeing the promise for the rest of my life and then the excitement of healing and recovery and pouring what I had been through into the show.
You know, it's a camp crush, and he goes, don't be crazy. Like, from the jump, I always saw this wide where everybody does that clean kind of shoulder thing, and he's into it for a second. He's like, get out of here. So the second we kind of pull back into that, I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm here, we're here, that's a shot, I'm going to remember that. Carlos he did me a solid, he showed up and he played the foster dad in the original Torch, and the plan was I was going to bolster that character, and he and the foster dad's wife, played by his wife, Alexa Penavega, were going to come and be a part of the show in that capacity. When I lost Lecrae, we just made some creative adjustments and asked Carlos if he would come play the role of Jeremy, the camp pastor, and he came and played ball for us and played Jeremy and did it exceptionally well. When we look back, and Cozi's been back here on the sofa for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. She's like, all right, well, I think I have an idea for the verse. Once again, you're like, oh, maybe it's like a melody or hum a melody or maybe like a line, or what if it said something like this? And she just sings what, with maybe a line or two tweak, I can't even remember, but pretty much what is the verse.
Oh, we were feeling the heat, like 1,000 degrees. I mean, the tension, it was crazy, it was...
Because she understands the craft side of it, but she's an actor and she's a storyteller, and there's a lot of things that are swirling around in her brain, and she's been working on her craft for long enough that she knows how to how to catch the butterfly in that tornado. It's a pretty special combination when I get the privilege of being in the room with those two. You come to these moments emotionally for the characters where it matters a lot.
We gotta sing about it. That was kind of always his quote when we came to an emotional beat in the show that just had to be a song.
Because it's a musical show. So I'm always looking for these moments of emotional importance, or a moment where a character is trying to convince another character of something, and go, we have to sing about it. Like, it's a musical.
I mean, if I'm a Honda Civic, he's a Cadillac. And I think it should absolutely be Savannah. Oh, Lenny, you're cool. Yeah, but not like that.
Or somebody else saying, Lenny, you're cool. And Savannah goes, yeah, but not like that.
That's awesome.
That's terrible.
Bro, oh, Lenny, you're cool. Yeah, but not like that.
Cozi's writing style. It's annoying. It's annoying because she's a bit of a savant. Like, she's an auteur of creativity. Cozi's creative style in general is, here are the marching orders, here's what we need, here's what the moment needs. And then for the most part, she doesn't really need anybody else.
We started working on the song. We ended up calling Camp Crush. And 30 minutes before they got there, I think they were arriving at like 10. It was like 9:30, and I'm like, okay, I think I got an idea. So I had this chorus idea, and it sort of came out of nowhere. I'm like, those are the best ones. This feels really good. I shared it with Alan.
Previs, as it's called.
Oh, we were feeling the heat, like 1,000 degrees. I mean, the tension, it was crazy. It was keep it PG.
And that's our first thing up, and we'll be shooting that in 2 weeks. So that's the challenge today, is to get clarity in my own mind about what I'm looking at on Camp Crush that's not really getting me excited, and then be able to communicate that clearly to Paul and Ryan in the choreography department.
It was really cool. Like, to have Cozi become a part of the behind the scenes, I could totally feel that I'm in my 20s energy, and I'm gonna earn my way into where I really want to be, which is ended up being everywhere.
When we get outside, the guys can't be like looking at the girls and vice versa.
In their world.
They got to be in their world, and I think it'd be really fun if like we go outside, and if that's the door and it's Max, he doesn't have to necessarily be leading the way. There's a couple of them, but he's early, and like they keep singing, and he's just like back here. You know what I mean? Like we're vibing and doing the thing. She's doing the same thing, and they back into each other.
I like that one. You like this one? Yeah.
Option 2. And it's like it's forward, they're not paying attention. We'll do that for the guys, we'll do it for the girls. Then I buy. Like if they do whatever that is, like fun moment out of the thing, fun moment out of the thing.
Maybe it's what if I dove in the deep end? What if I let myself feel butterflies go away, my head in my heels,
and I can't deny.
So what if
I watched it 100 times. I'm ready. So Paul Becker is at the top of his game. He's a very good storyteller who tells stories through choreography. More often than not, he'll send me something and I'm just like, that's awesome. Get your guys ready to do that because we're doing that. But sometimes, for whatever reason, he'll send me something, whether it be a specific piece of choreography in something he's doing or an overall design of a section, just isn't what I'm looking for from that particular moment or from that song or whatever. Again, I feel like my job is just to go like, how does this make me feel?
He's going from this back to like playing with his dudes.
Yeah.
And she does the same.
Yep.
And then they bump into each other.
Camp Crush.
Don't be crazy.
It's a Camp Crush. God, what are you up to?
And I'm really grateful for, and this is true of all of you guys, like we can put, hopefully we're not putting two-dimensional characters on the page, but we can put versions of the characters that people are quote unquote used to, which we start kind of early, but we can do it because we know that the people who are filling those roles are going to fill it with humans. And all of you guys have done that, which is why you're all sitting here.
There's something in the air, so close I can taste it, sweet as a lavender sky. I'm flying on a prayer, I'm so gonna chase it, catch it like a firefly. It feels like the truth and it feels like a dare. If it hurts me or helps me, I know I won't care. There's something in the air.
They didn't have time to literally let Antonio and Cozi go back to their trailer and change wardrobe and hair. So they were already dressed for Never Be the Same. And I was like, let's just do it right now. We'll do it. Get everybody out of there. Like, it'll just be the two of them. You know, Camp Crush is a song about the two of them going like, oh, maybe there's something there. And the bridge, if you're paying enough attention, they're actually in the same wardrobe and they're in the same place as where they end up a few episodes later, you know, literally dancing together. It ends up being this really, I think, kind of interesting foreshadowing of where they're going to go. When that idea of doing the bridge for Camp Crush in the same wardrobe, in the same place that we do Never Be the Same, clearing everybody out and it's just them. When I pictured that and Paul showed me kind of what it could be, that gave me the feel. Kronk was originally what Kronk is in Emperor's New Groove. This big guy, this big, you know, burly, like super strong over the, you know. And it stayed that way. And then if you know of Jason Marsden, this is not a secret, he is not a big guy, 5'1", 5'2", but he sent in his audition.
What's happening? Jason Marsden here. I am 5 foot 1 inches tall. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I am over 18 years old.
And it was hilarious.
Kronk,
Yes, ma'am.
find out who did this.
Absolutely.
And when you do, you know what to do.
Yeah. Kill him.
What? No, bring them to me.
So you kill him.
We saw some good tapes for it, but it was, I mean, honestly, it was just, it wasn't even, it was one of those like, this isn't even close.